Hello there, everybody, and this is going to be episode 23, and this one that I know exactly what we're going to build, and I don't know where it is. I think it's back. Yeah, large. You know, I've already seen 3 and run. Just can't place that anyway. Like this. There's one at. Here's one right here. In fact, this is probably the least fancy thing you've ever laid your eyes on. on. Yeah, like, good looking. Look at this moves the. titanium alloy over to the nanocarbon alloy one, and then we have
Special, my Valheim Forever world. No resets or do-overs, just one world that will evolve over time. Every build, every death, every adventure.
Y'all would win it because y'all got. Y'all would win it because y'all got voodoo, all that Madrid magic, all that dark magic. That's what it is. Real Madrid and the Pacers. Y'all not slick no more. Cats out the bag with Indiana.
Champion in my vein, all of this came not by luck. Going too crazy in the stadium, got the city going nuts. Let's get it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Roommate Show, where the vibes are always immaculate, a Playmaker original, presented by Bet365. We got Matty Ice with us, we got JB, we got one of the newest New York Knicks, Garuchon Yasabili. So, what's up, baby?
He does that with everyone. Don't take it personal.
Wow. I was looking at his name. I said, all right, how am I going to pronounce this one?
That's all good. You're going to learn. It's easy. It's real easy, I swear.
You in France right now?
Yeah, no, I'm in Madrid. This is where I have my house here with the family.
Okay.
That's
nice. Madrid.
It's like one of the best cities in Europe so far.
That's what's up, man. Well, first of all, welcome. Nah, we appreciate it. I think we're all very excited. I kind of want to talk about your journey, man, because I mean, I think after your Olympic performance, you kind of resurged yourself back into the NBA. So, let's just talk about that. Like, what was it like getting ready for the Olympics and then last year being back in the NBA?
I mean, the whole journey of that whole season was pretty much amazing. Starting with Real Madrid, we did every finals of every competition, so we won like 3 out of 4. So going to the French national team, I was pretty confident. You know, I was really feeling like, oh, we're doing something this season, and you know, it was the Olympics, so for sure I was hyped already. It was home, family, everybody was waiting for that. So it was just amazing to be able to translate from like Real Madrid to go to the national team, to be able to go to finals in the Olympic homes, and then to be able to go back to the league. This whole season, I think I will never forget that year. It was really special for me and my family, but being able to go back to the league after 5 years, I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
People talk a lot about how hard it is to get to the NBA, but they don't talk enough about how hard it is to stay in the NBA, especially once you make it and then you find yourself out of the league. I can imagine at times you're like, damn, am I ever gonna make it back? But like you said, you made it back after 5 years. So like, how do you, not to obviously not Euro League ball, which is amazing, but I'm sure the goal, right, is always to find yourself back in the NBA. So how do you stay positive? How do you stay ready? Like, how do you, because it could happen at any time.
I mean, it was really hard, to be honest. It was long five, like it was 5 long year, like every year, every summer. My agent was calling me. He was like, oh, you might have a chance. Just a couple of team call-ins, try to see what's your situation with the contract. So I was pretty hyped going to every summer. I was like, oh, maybe I will have a chance. But it was really hard to find out that, no teams are making a move. So now you're like, okay, I have to go back, round again, and, prove that I'm able to come back to the league. So it was really hard. But like you said, it's so hard to stay in the NBA. I remember when I was in Boston, they was telling me the average, I think, players in the league is like 2 or 3 years. And, I spent 2 years and then I was gone. So once this happened and then there's no more NBA, that's when you realize that, wow, it's over. So, it's hard to keep the balance and the motivation to tell yourself that you will be back.
That's one thing. Obviously, we like Matt. I think with Matt, you talked about like, how hard it is to get to the league, how hard it is to stay in the league. But I feel like once you're in the league and you go overseas, it's not impossible, but it's even harder to get back.
Yep.
Like there's a few players that go overseas and then are able to come back. And I mean, you had a great year last year, so credit to you, bro, because I know that had to mess with your mind a little bit. And I want to talk about the process of coming back, right? So when you're coming back, because I know there was a whole thing with like contract, NBA buyout, and those kind of things. And like there were some stories and rumors and all that, but like talk about that process and like how difficult, because it's not just like, oh, NBA team wants to sign me, I'm out.
Yeah. So I kind of like knew we was getting into that because my contract, I was under contract with Real Madrid. So even with everything that happened in the Olympics and I knew I had a chance to come back, I knew that I would have to take a risk because I still have to pay the buyout, right? So we talked a little bit with my agent, with my wife, my friends, some of my closest people to try to make sure we make the good decision. But then, after that, I was talking to my wife and I was like, the NBA is a second chance. Like, it's maybe 5 or 6 people that had a chance to come back in the league. So for me, it was impossible to say no because it's here today, but there's no such thing like it might not be there next year. Everybody was like, oh, you should stay 1 more year. No, once the NBA wants you, you got to go because it's going to be another player.
You're like, I've waited 5 years.
Oh, yeah, and like it's going to be another player. It's going to be another thing. Like, it was, for me, it was like, yeah, you had a perfect year. This is the time. You got to go back. You got to take the risk. And, I wanted to see what's up. I feel like I was in the league before and I didn't get the chance to really play, to really show when I was able to. So I was like, I feel like I'm more prepared now. So let's try to go over there, take a risk, but, be motivated and give everything on the court.
What would you say the biggest difference between Euroball and NBA is?
It's a lot of things that's really come into that because the whole time I was in EuroLeague, it's always the debate, which better, the league, EuroLeague, or this and that. So I think the NBA is the best for sure. Like, there's no question about it. It's just how it is, EuroLeague gets better every year, which is good, right? Competition, like you're gonna see some new players coming in here and go crazy. So you will see that, but the NBA is much faster. It's more like one possession sometimes. Fast break. It's really like a game that's really fast and really athletic, right? When it comes to Europe, it's more like taking the ball, set a play up, play defense, and then go offense. You take your time. It's like a different type of basketball, right? And you feel like the coach and the team really try to outcoach them. Like they really try to set plays to try to mess them up a little bit. I feel like the league, if it's a player that can guard anybody for like 5 minutes, we're gonna attack this guy.
Just go at him.
We don't set no play, no nothing. No, get the ball and attack him until he's out, and then we'll figure it out. You know, so I feel like the game that we play here in Europe is just a little bit different. I always like compare to the game in the Olympics. When we was playing Team USA, when we was playing our game slow, we was there, and when we was trying to match their energy when they was going fast break, they better than us in that. They've been doing this since they was kids. So, it was hard for us to impose our game, but I really think it's two different games.
The Olympics, like you mentioned it, like it's, obviously that's a crazy achievement. First of all, playing in the national team,
Yeah.
for your national team, but obviously playing for your national team, you guys are hosting the Olympics. You guys are playing, USA for just talk about that process. You guys are, you guys are winning. It's neck and neck. It's like, just talk about the environment for that game and just walk us through it.
The whole Olympic was I want to say like one of my best experience just because of emotional. It was so crazy from our start. I would say just because it was our first time for us to play Wemby, first of all. We had kind of like a new team with some new guys. So, we was try to see, okay, let's try to create something and make history. Everybody, we make sure everybody understand that playing the Olympic in your country, this happened once in the lifetime. So once we figured this out, like we was together on everything. We was playing together. But to start the competition, we had a bad start, if we're being honest. Our start was pretty bad. We played Brazil, we won. We played Japan, almost lost. We had the Matthew Strazel that hit the 4-point play at the end to go to overtime, that we win. And then before the quarterfinal, we lost against Germany pretty bad, like by 30 points or something. So at that time, everybody, and I think it's the first time that I said in somewhere public, right? But the whole coaching staff with some of the people in the French Federation, for them, it was over. Because like we played Canada quarterfinals, everybody was like, "There's no way we're gonna beat them," which it was crazy. It was just the players, and then we walking around looking like, all the coach looking already to blame somebody, you know. So like the atmosphere was crazy. And then Nico Batum and Nando De Colo did a great job of just bringing the team together and be like, okay, this is on us, right? Whatever happened, it happened, right? It's just gonna be us. We already lost half of the team over there. Nobody believe in us. Like, it's us against the world, kind of. So when we went through that process, and then we started the game in the quarterfinals against Canada, we was just dogs. It was like it's just no way, like this is our proud. Like, we're just gonna go over there. We're home and we're gonna make it happen. So beating Canada, beating Germany, it just give us like an extra boost. Now we go to the finals, it was like whatever happened, happened. At least we made the final, and we're proud of this. Of course, I was going, to the final in my mind. I was like, we're gonna beat them. Like we home. There's nothing's gonna happen today. Like we home. So it was super confident, but then it's Team USA. You play some of the best player in the world, especially in those competition, and then we bought the best of Stephen Curry, for them to be able to beat us too. So, I be telling, I remember at the end everybody was crying, putting their hands down, and I was just walking around. I put everybody's head up because I was like, we gotta be proud. Like we home. Like we made this happen. We made history. We lost it, okay, but we played good. At least we give ourselves a chance. So the whole thing was just amazing. And then of course being able to put that dunk also in the finals, and I remember everybody screaming. I was watching over there, my mom, my dad. They don't really get a chance to see me play, so be able to do all the stuff home with them, just watching me courtside, it was just a crazy feeling.
And listen, it took an all-time Steph Curry performance to beat you guys.
See,
I mean, like it wasn't just a normal Steph Curry. Like
but this
crazy.
in real life, it was, man.
Difficult.
Hello there, and this is going to be episode 16 of the Astroneer series. And so, as you saw by the title and the thumbnail, both of those working together to tell you what this video is about, we are going to be automating the gathering of Astronium with auto extractors. Now, that's going to be really confusing for those of you who have been watching this series from the start, because the first thing you'll note is that I already did that, so why would I do it again? Well, the answer is quite simple. We automated Astronium because we wanted to have Astronium at our base, but also I've changed my mind about the big fat goal of this series, right? The goal of this series is to build Nanocarbon Alloy Factory 2.0, which is the factory that turns our soil into nanocarbon alloy. And the way that works is the factory turns our soil into scrap, then uses that scrap to get nanocarbon alloy. And so I want to instead do Astronium for that. So I'm going to need a separate system for Astronium so that the nanocarbon alloy factory can have Astronium, but also I can have a separate train of Astronium for my base. So that's why we're doing it again. But also I want to be able to get Astronium quicker, right? So I'm going to do this one better. I'm going to get more Astronium from this because I'm going to use more auto extractors. And so, yeah, this is kind of going to be like Nanocarbon Alloy Factory 3.0 instead of 2.0, because technically we are upgrading it by using Astronium instead of soil. And the reason that's an upgrade is because, according to what I was told, when you use the exploit here to overclock your auto extractors, they actually do not deplete the Astronium vein that they are on, right? This Astronium node here will actually never disappear, according to what I've been told, if you use the overclocking strategy here. So that's why Astronium would be better, because the only advantage soil had over Astronium is that there's so much more. But if Astronium is infinite now because of this exploit, well, then Astronium's just better, because then it's automatic and infinite. It's both of those, which is actually real nice. But yes, as I said, I want to use this setup here that we have right now for, you know, getting my own scrap for my base and having my own Astronium for my base that I can just use on whatever I want. But I want there to be a separate system that I'm going to set up around the planet at a different spot for the Nanocarbon Alloy Factory. And again, the reason I want that is because I'm going to want a lot of Astronium if I'm going to be turning it into nanocarbon alloy, because you're going to need a lot of stuff. Actually, 2 pieces of Astronium converts to 6 scrap, and that's all you need for 1 nanocarbon alloy, so the conversion rate is actually rather handsome. But regardless, I want to make sure it's coming in quickly, so we're going to use a bunch of auto extractors here so that we get tons of nanocarbon alloy whenever we finally set up the factory. Oh, I'm gonna vomit. Anyways, I know that was a rather long setup for the video, especially for those of you who haven't been following the entire series. It was probably quite annoying for me to lay down all that context, but I felt like it was necessary so that you know exactly what I'm doing and why for this video. And so now we're going to jump straight into it. We are going to take with us what we need to make a landing pad, though, so that once I get this rover to where we're going, where we're going to dig down for Astronium, I can just get back and forth using my shuttle from then on out, because, you know, that's going to be a lot faster than just driving all the way around the planet every time I want to get to the other Astronium thing. But yes, I guess what this technically officially means is that we are actually working on NCAF 2.0 now. Well, I guess it's NCAF 3.0 because we have made this change, but everything else is the same, so I'm still going to call it 2.0 because that's, you know, the way we get the scrap is kind of an easy change. Speaking of, if what I heard about the infinite Astronium node isn't actually like true, if that's just a myth, not really a big deal, because it's not going to be hard for us to switch out the Astronium to scrap for a sort of scrap, and the rest of the factory is just going to be the exact same because we use scrap for everything. So yeah, I got off track there, but yes, this technically means we're already working on NCAF 2.0, so the series, you know, might be coming to a close, or maybe not. Just depends on if I depends on if there's more stuff that I end up coming up with that we should do, or if you know, if you drop down some good suggestions, I'll try to.
I can't tell you how excited I am to open up my first ever booster pack of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet White Flare. And before everybody freaks out like, Ando, why you're only opening Pokemon White Flare? I thought there was Pokemon Black. And if you know anything about the top of getting those full up Black, White, and Red,
big games.